I'm Elizabeth Fabian from the Penguin Random House Library Marketing Team, and my 3 and 3 staff picks this time around are all fantastic debut novels. First is Perish by LaToya Watkins, a powerful story about a Black Texan family exploring the effects of inherited trauma as the family comes together to say goodbye to their matriarch, Helen Jean, on her deathbed. Spanning decades and told in alternating chapters that follow 4 members of the family, Perish tracks the choices of Helen Jean and how those choices have rippled across generations, from her children to her grandchildren and beyond. As the family comes to say goodbye, this reunion unearths long-kept secrets and forces each member to ask important questions about who is deserving of forgiveness and who bears the cross of blame. This is a novel of a powerful and moving family story, like those of Jesmyn Ward, Britt Bennett, and Tommy Orange. The next title I'm about to talk to you about is The Rabbit Hutch by Tess Gundry, a stunning debut about a quest for transcendence in a crumbling apartment building in the post-industrial Midwest. The automobile industry has abandoned Vacaville, Indiana, leaving the residents behind too. In a run-down apartment building commonly known as the Rabbit Hutch, the residents are now looking for ways to live in this dying town. In apartment C4 live 4 teenagers who have recently aged out of the foster care system, 3 boys and 1 girl, Blandine. She's hauntingly beautiful and unnervingly bright, and she wants an escape. Set across 1 week and culminating in a shocking act of violence, the Rabbit Hutch chronicles a town desperate for rebirth. How far will its residents and Blandine go to achieve it? And does one person's gain always come at another person's expense? The Rabbit Hutch is a gorgeous and provocative tale of loneliness and community, entrapment and freedom, and will appeal to readers of The Girls and House of Leaves. And finally is The Catch by Alison Fairbrother, an electric debut about a woman searching for the truth about her father and the secrets of her family. It's perfect for readers of Maggie Shipstead, Claire Lombardo, and Emmy Straub. Ellie Adler's beloved father, James, has children from 3 marriages, and he unites the family with his gentle humor and charisma. But Ellie has always believed that she is her father's favorite. When he dies suddenly, she's devastated by the unexpected loss. And then at the reading of his will, she learns that instead of leaving her his prized possession, a baseball that holds emotional resonance for them both, he has left her a seemingly ridiculous gift. And worse, he's given the baseball to someone the family has never heard of. In her grief, Ellie sets out to track down this person and learns startling information about who her father really was and who she herself is becoming. The Catch is moving and witty and unforgettable. It's a story of the gifts we're given over the course of a lifetime from family and friends and strangers, the ones we want and the ones that catch us unawares. I hope you love these novels as much as I do. Thanks so much for listening.
Hi, I'm Liz Camfiord with Penguin Random House Library Marketing, and I'm here to tell you about 3 wonderful book club picks for the summer. First, Iona Iverson's Rules for Commuting is just the kind of escape readers are looking for, written by British author Claire Pooley, who won fans with her debut novel, The Authenticity Project. Here we meet Iona Iverson, a magazine advice columnist who each day travels by train the 10 stops from Hampton Court to Waterloo Station, accompanied by her dog, Lulu. Every day, she sees the same people whom she's given nicknames but has never spoken to, until the man she calls smart but sexist man-spreader chokes on a grape right in front of her. Luckily, Sanjay, a nurse, gives him the Heimlich maneuver. This event has a ripple effect and brings together a group of eclectic commuters with their common humanity. This is a Ted Lasso-like, funny, feel-good story, and reviewers have been heaping praise, saying Iona is one of the best characters since Eleanor Oliphant. And then we have Tomorrow and Tomorrow and Tomorrow. It's the new novel by Gabrielle Zevin that John Green calls utterly brilliant. Opening with a quote by Emily Dickinson, that love is all there is. This is a modern love story about 2 childhood friends, Sam, raised by an actress mother in LA's Koreatown, and Sadie from the wealthy Jewish enclave of Beverly Hills. They reunite in college to create video games, finding an intimacy in digital worlds that eludes them in their real lives. Their first blockbuster video game, Ichigo, launches them to instant fame and fortune, but that won't spare them from the pitfalls of creative ambition or betrayal. This spans 30 years from Cambridge, Massachusetts to Venice Beach, California, and takes on the complex nature of identity, disability, success, failure, and the redemption to be found in play. At its heart, this is really a timely book about our need to connect and the purity of love among friends. And then lastly, a historical novel called Mercury Pictures Presents by the award-winning author Anthony Marra. This is set in 1940s and is the epic tale of Maria Lagana, a brilliant woman who reinvents herself to survive after her father is arrested in Mussolini's Italy, and she flees to Los Angeles. In Hollywood, Maria becomes an associate producer at Mercury Pictures, and the studio truly becomes a bastion of European emigres, modernist poets turn B-movie screenwriters to refugee actors playing the very villains they've fled. As World War II rages, Maria rises through a maze of politics and divided loyalties. And then the plot thickens as a stranger from her father's past threatens Maria's carefully constructed facade. Mercury Pictures is a love letter to life's bit players, a panorama of an era that casts a long shadow over our own, and a tour de force by a novelist whose work the Washington Post calls a flash in the heavens that makes you look up and believe in miracles. Thank you for joining me for my book club picks.
Hello everyone, Rachel here with Penguin Random House Library Marketing, and these are my 3 and 3 mystery and thriller staff picks. First up, I'm excited to share Upgrade, the latest novel by New York Times bestselling author of Recursion and Dark Matter, Blake Crouch. An ordinary man undergoes a startling transformation and fears that all of humanity may be next in this mind-blowing new thriller. Logan Ramsey can feel his brain changing. His body too. He's becoming something other than himself, maybe even something other than human. As he sets out to discover who did this to him and why, his transformation threatens everything. Because the truth of what's happening to him is more disturbing than he could possibly imagine. His DNA has been rewritten by a genetic engineering breakthrough beyond anything the world has seen, one that could change our very definitions of humanity. And the battle to control this unfathomable power has already begun. And this is great for fans of Lisa Gardner, Harlan Coben, and Lee Child. Next up, we have Local Gone Missing by Fiona Barton from the New York Times bestselling author of The Widow. Elsie King is a successful and ambitious detective, or she was before a medical leave left her unsure if she'd ever return to work. She now spends most days watching the growing tensions in her small seaside town of Ebbing. Elise can only guess what really happens behind closed doors, but Dee Eastwood, her house cleaner, often knows. She is an invisible presence in many of the houses in town, but she sees and hears everything. The conflicts boil over when a newcomer wants to put the town on the map with a giant music festival. And when a man disappears that first night, Elise is drawn back into her detective work and starts digging for answers. Ebbing is a small town, but it's full of secrets and hidden connections that run deeper and darker than Elise ever could have imagined. We know you'll love this latest novel from Fiona Barton because The Suspect and The Child were both library reads picks. And finally, we have Shudder by Ramona Emerson. This blood-chilling debut set in New Mexico's Navajo Nation is equal parts gripping crime thriller, supernatural horror, and poignant portrayal of coming of age on the reservation. Rita is a forensic photographer working for the Albuquerque police force. Her excellent photography skills have cracked many cases. She's almost supernaturally good at capturing details. In fact, Rita has been hiding a secret. She sees the ghosts of crime victims who point her toward the clues that other investigators overlook. When Rita is sent to photograph the scene of a supposed suicide on a highway overpass, the furious, discombobulated ghost of the victim, who insists she was murdered, latches onto Rita, forcing her on a quest for revenge against her killers. And Rita finds herself in the crosshairs of one of Albuquerque's most dangerous cartels. Written in sparkling, gruesome prose, Shudder is an explosive debut from one of crime fiction's most powerful new voices. And those are my 3 and 3. Thanks for watching, and happy reading.
Hi, I'm Sharnell Johnson from the Penguin Random House Library Marketing Team, and I am pleased to share my 3 and 3 debut romance staff picks for this summer. In The Accidental Pinup, photographer Cassie Harris loves her job. Her company, Buxom Boudoir, makes people look beautiful and feel empowered with her modern twist on classic pinup photography. Cassie's best friend Dana is about to launch her own dangerously dreamy lingerie line and wants Cassie to shoot and direct the career-changing national campaign. But company politics and Dana's complicated pregnancy interfere, and Cassie finds herself, a proud plus-size Black woman, not behind the camera, but in front of it. Though she's never modeled herself, Cassie's pretty sure she can handle the sheer underwear and caution tape bralettes. She's not sure that she can handle working so intimately with the chosen photographer, her longtime competitor, Reed Montgomery. Their chemistry is undeniable on set, however, and feelings can develop faster than film. Fans of Bridgerton will love A Lady's Guide to Fortune Hunting. Kitty Talbot needs a fortune, or rather, she needs a husband with a fortune. Left with her father's massive debts, she has only 12 weeks to save her family from ruin. Kitty has never been one to back down from a challenge, so she leaves home and heads to London for the season. Kitty may be neither accomplished nor especially genteel, but she is utterly single-minded and clever, and she knows that risk is part of the game. The only thing she doesn't anticipate is Lord Radcliffe. The worldly Radcliffe sees Kitty for the mercenary fortune hunter that she really is, and is determined to halt her plans at all costs, until their parrying takes a completely different turn. Last is a new retelling of Jane Austen's Emma called The Lifestyle. Georgina Wagman is living the life she's always wanted, and everything is perfect. That is, until she walks in on her husband in a compromising position with a junior associate. Georgina has a moment of crisis, but divorce is not a part of her 5-year plan, so she comes up with an idea to save her marriage and recapture the spark. She and her husband are going to become swingers. Georgina isn't going to embark on this adventure alone, though. Her friends Felix and Nora and their respective partners decide to tag along for the ride. They've got relationship woes of their own that swinging just might fix. Georgina, convinced Felix and Nora belong together, is thrilled. What better place to reignite romance between two people destined to be together than a swingers party? Her plan is foolproof until she runs into a college ex at the first party. When they reconnect, Georgina finds herself torn between her head and her heart, with her very happiness hanging in the balance. Thanks for watching and happy reading.
Hello, everyone. I'm Miriam with Penguin Random House's Library Marketing Team, and here are our 3 staff nonfiction picks for this summer. We're going to start with a compelling memoir for basketball and sports history fans, The NBA in Black and White by Ray Scott. Ray Scott was part of the early wave of African-American NBA players like Bill Russell, Wilt Chamberlain, and later Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, who changed how the game of professional men's basketball is played, leading to the tremendously popular financial blockbuster the NBA is today. Scott was a celebrated 6'9" forward center after being chosen by the Detroit Pistons as the 4th pick of the 1961 NBA draft. In 1972, he was named head coach of the Pistons and became the first Black coach to capture the honor of NBA's Coach of the Year in 1974. In his insightful memoir, Scott asks, "How did I, a kid from a low-rent, 3rd-floor walk-up apartment in South Philly, who started playing basketball when I was 10, go where I've been and get to where I am? How and why did I manage to survive the normal racial obstacles that hindered and often destroyed the careers and lives of so many Black men, including basketball players who I believe were more talented than I ever was?" The NBA in Black and White is a moving story and riveting social history of sports and race. Our next book is How to Raise an Anti-Racist by Dr. Ibram X. Kendi. The tragedies and reckonings around racism that have rocked the country have created a specific crisis for parents and other caregivers. How do we talk to our children about it? How do we guide our children to avoid repeating our racist history? And how do we raise our children to be anti-racists? Following the model of his best-selling How to Be an Anti-Racist, Dr. Kendi combines vital scholarship with a compelling personal narrative of his own journey as a parent to create a work whose advice is grounded in research and real-world experience. This is a must-read for parents, caregivers, and educators interested in racial justice and anti-racism. And our final staff pick is River of the Gods. For millennia, the location of the Nile River's headwaters was shrouded in mystery. In the 19th century, there was a frenzy of interest in ancient Egypt. At the same time, European powers sent off waves of explorations intended to map the unknown corners of the globe. In River of the Gods, best-selling author Candice Millard chronicles the African expeditions of Richard Burton and John Hanning Speke, two rivals who were sent by the Royal Geographical Society to claim the prize for England. Millard also tells the little-known story of Sidi Mubarak Bombay, an enslaved East African who led both expeditions. River of the Gods is a gripping tale of courage and adventure set against the backdrop of the exploitation of Africa by colonial powers. We hope that you'll check out these three notable nonfiction reads in the months ahead. Thank you very much and have a wonderful day.
Hi, I'm Jen Childs from Penguin Random House Library Marketing, and I'm happy to share three of our top science fiction and fantasy titles from our spring and summer lists. You may recognize the author of my first book, Kelly Barnhill, as her middle grade novel, The Girl Who Drank the Moon, won a Newbery Medal. When Women Were Dragons is her first adult novel, a rollicking feminist tale set in 1950s America, where thousands of women have spontaneously transformed into dragons. You heard that right. Exploding the notions of a woman's place in the world and expanding minds about accepting others for who they really are. This speculative fiction with a feminist twist will appeal to readers of any age who love Margaret Atwood, Naomi Alderman, and Leigh Bardugo, and will appeal to a crossover audience of YA and adult readers. Next up, Library Reads favorite Sylvia Moreno Garcia returns with a dreamy reimagining of the island of Dr. Moreau, set against the backdrop of 19th century Mexico in The Daughter of Dr. Moreau. Carlotta Moreau, a young woman growing up on a distant and luxuriant estate, safe from the conflict and strife of the Yucatan Peninsula, the only daughter of a researcher who is either a genius or a madman. Montgomery Lawton, a melancholic overseer with a tragic past and propensity for alcohol, an outcast who assists Dr. Moreau with his experiments. The hybrids, the fruits of the doctor's labor, destined to blindly obey their creator, a motley group of part human, part animal monstrosities. All of them living in perfectly balanced and static world, which is jolted by the abrupt arrival of Eduardo Lizalde, the charming and careless son of Dr. Moreau's patron, who will unwittingly begin a dangerous chain reaction. And finally is Never the Wind, a bittersweet Gothic fantasy of family, friendship, memory, and the uncanny, told from the perspective of a blind teenager in Puglia, southern Italy. Perfect for readers of Neil Gaiman, Donna Tartt, and Haruki Murakami. It's 1996, Luca is 13 and has been completely blind for 8 months when his parents move to a southern Italian farmhouse that they dream of turning into a hotel. With his brother dropping out of university and the family reeling from Luca's diagnosis, they are chasing dreams of rebirth and reinvention. As Luca tells his story without sight, experiencing the world solely through hearing, smell, taste, and touch, he meets the dauntless Ada, who takes him out to explore the rocky fields and empty beaches. But Luca and Ada find they can't escape the grudges that have lasted between their families for generations or the gossiping of the town. And Luca is preyed upon by the feral wanderer who walks the vineyards of his home. Immersive storytelling full of the sun-baked glory of the southern Italian landscape. What more could you ask for? Thank you, and happy reading.
Hi, I'm Kelly coyle-crivelli from the Penguin Random House Library Marketing Department, and I am going to talk about 3 not-to-be-missed cookbooks about to hit the shelves with something for every skill level, every palate, and most importantly, every eater. Sometimes we think it is intimidating to cook for picky toddlers or moody teenagers. What about trying to appease Gordon Ramsay? From the winner of Hell's Kitchen comes Spice Kitchen, healthy Latin and Caribbean cuisine from Ariel Fox with a foreword by Gordon Ramsay. This compilation of 110 recipes from this award-winning chef takes a healthier approach to cuisines that are often underrepresented in cookbooks. Chef Ariel Fox introduces you to both classic recipes as well as innovative new dishes in Spice Kitchen. Healthy Latinx and Caribbean dishes in a way that works for all lifestyles. This book has something for everyone, including information on how to maximize your pantry, simple recipes, and useful suggestions for adapting the dishes to any diet. I love when food tells a story, and I think you can get to know a lot about a person by the foods that are important to them. And as somebody that likes to read more than I like to cook, I do love when a cookbook has a little bit of background in it. The next book I'm going to talk about is My America, Recipes from a Young Black Chef. This is from the James Beard award-winning chef, Kwame Onwuachi, who the San Francisco Chronicle calls the most important chef in America. The acclaimed author of Notes from a Black Chef shares the dishes of his America, dishes that show the true diversity of American food. And David Chang calls it a must-have for anyone who wants to be a better cook. Each recipe is an insight into Kwame's family, travels, and time spent in some of the best kitchens in the world. Featuring more than 125 recipes, My America is a celebration of the African diaspora as handed down through Onwuachi's own family history, spanning Nigeria to the Caribbean, the South to the Bronx, and beyond. This is a book for everybody, and the recipes are outstanding, and it's also a personal tribute to how much he loves food, and you can tell in every recipe. My kind of book is something that gets you in and out of the kitchen with no cleanup, easy, but a good meal in the meantime. And what more could you ask for, except for somebody to cook it for you? But dinner in one, exceptional and easy one-pan meal recipes. This is a cookbook from Melissa Clark. It's 100 all new, super simple and incredibly delicious, one pot, one pan, one sheet, one everything recipes from the New York Times star, food writer, and best-selling author of Dinner in French, Dinner in One, and more. Melissa Clark brings her home-cooked experience and a no-fuss approach to the world of one pot, one pan cooking, with nearly all of the recipes being made in under an hour. She streamlines the steps to ensure you're in and out of the kitchen without dirtying the entire house, and also leaving satisfied with a great dinner and a great memory behind you. These are my 3 and 3. Happy cooking.
Hi, my name is Hugo. I'm with Penguin Random House in our library group, and I'm excited to talk to you about some spring and summer comics that I'm looking forward to. The first is Lore Olympus, Volume 2. This is the second book in the Lore Olympus series based on the incredibly popular and #1 webtoon comic created by the Eisner-nominated Rachel Smith. This series reimagines the Greek mythos with a modern romantic take on the tale of Hades and Persephone. In Volume 2, this sharply perceptive and propulsive love story between 2 Greek gods continues amidst the backdrop of scandalous gossip, wild parties, and forbidden love, told with lavish artwork and contemporary sensibilities. This volume collects episodes 26 through 49 of the webtoon series and includes a brand new exclusive short story. This is perfect for comic and graphic novel readers who also love to read romantic retellings such as Malice by Heather Walter, Uprooted by Naomi Novik, or The Bear and the Nightingale by the fabulous Catherine Arden. DC League of Super Pets. There is nothing that the Super Pets love more than spending time with their heroes, but they're finding it difficult to be taken seriously as members of the team when their humans just don't understand them. When a magical imp from the 5th dimension arrives in Metropolis with a plan to wreak a little chaos and devastation, the Justice League is caught in his trap. Somehow, in some way, the super pets will need to come up with a plan to prevent the destruction of the city and to rescue their human counterparts. It's fluffy, adorable, and downright thrilling. The story of these fun, furry wonders is perfect for middle grade readers and reluctant readers alike. The Penguin Classics Marvel Collection presents specially curated comic book anthologies of the origin stories, seminal tales, and characters of the Marvel Universe, exploring Marvel's transformative and timeless influence on an entire genre of fandom and fantasy. At this point, it really is impossible to imagine American pop culture without Marvel Comics. The Amazing Spider-Man goes back to the original source material with key stories from the first 2 years of The Amazing Spider-Man, 1962 through 1964. This offers fresh insight into the character development and the personalities of his creators. Includes rarely reprinted non-superhero stories, early letter pages, and supplemental materials shedding light on Stan Lee and Steve Ditko. Captain America. This debuted in 1941, almost a year before the events of Pearl Harbor, and was initially conceived by Joe Simon and Jack Kirby as a pop culture argument for U.S. intervention in the European war against fascism. This collection includes his first appearances from 1941, alongside key examples of his first solo series in the 60s, in which the newly resurrected hero of World War II struggles to find his place in an unfamiliar war, paralleling with the nation itself. Black Panther. This anthology includes the 1966 origin story by Stan Lee and Jack Kirby and the critically acclaimed Panther's Revenge from the character's 1970 solo series by Don McGregor, Rich Buckler, and Billy Graham. Both series reflect eras in America's struggle for civil rights that they were published in. This is also a great tie-in with the History of Black Panther podcast hosted by the incredible Nick Stone. Thank you for listening to my staff picks.